Welcome, my friends. Welcome to Touching the Edge. I'm so happy to see you today. I'm happy to see you because I'm happy to see you every time, but also because today is the culmination of our 40-day practice. This is the 40th video out of 40 videos that all focus on becoming our best self and different elements of becoming our best self. Understanding the importance of not getting distracted by all the different tumultuousness, all the different agitation that we find in our environments. How do we maintain that focused vision about the heart of the matter? If you draw a gigantic circle and you put a point right in the center of it, that is the heart, the very center of that circle. The center of our being, who we really are, our authentic self, there's a stability in that. If we recognize it, there's a purpose in coming towards it, in understanding that inner dialogue, that inner intuition that's leading us to do what we are meant to do, to express what our heart is meant to express in this lifetime. If we understand that that is the very essence of our best self. One of my teachers described it as understanding the difference between the outer and the inner world. Many people describe the outer world as everything that's happening out there, and the inner world as being what's happening in their thoughts and emotions. Well, he described it as recognizing that your actual inner world is stable. It remains consistent. It reminds me of a woman I was sitting with as she was passing away, who told me she was in her 90s. She told me, "Drake, I still feel like I'm the same inside. I feel like I'm 18 inside." There's some element of who we authentically are that remains consistent throughout our entire life, from the point of birth all the way to the point that we leave this place. And coming to understand that and understand how we can be in concert with that intuition that is our own inner voice, that is finding our sense of mission in this world and what we're meant to express into this world, how we can make this world a better place. One of my teachers, again, said to me that it's a difference between the inner and the outer world, meaning that the inner world remains stable. The outer world is changing. The outer world is changing, and if you focus on what's changing and hope that it's going to be what you want it to be, you're always going to be in a position where you're not in power. You're focusing on change, and you can't control the change. The inner world remains stable, so if we keep going back to it, that is that relationship to realizing that part of the outer world is the changing emotions and thoughts, wishing that we felt differently than what we feel. However, what we identify becomes our center of reality. It becomes who we feel like we really are. If we focus in the outer world, it's so chaotic that we end up insecure. If we focus on not liking the emotions that we feel, even though we don't like them, say emotions like anxiety, we focus on anxiety so much that it becomes the center of who we think we are. We describe it as my anxiety, rather than describe it as another thing that's happening in our environment that's always changing. In many ways, the emotions are much more like the clouds than some sort of stable and consistent center. If you look at the clouds, if you think the clouds are who you are, they're going to change. Your emotions are going to change. But what remains consistent is your awareness, this state of being, I am. And so in this last of the 40-day practices, I'm asking you to consider focusing in that state of being, I am, and doing it on a regular basis. It's just say the statement, I am, at any given time, and in your environment, notice something that's very, very subtle. When you focus on subtlety in the midst of intensity, you come into self-mastery. So by focusing on that stability, what ends up happening is that we ground ourselves and we open ourselves to the flow of genius that is able to come through us and move out into the world and make a difference. Instead of using force, we end up becoming powerful because that power is flowing through us. We have the power of the river because we're swimming with it. And so consider now, in this last day of the 40 days, really making this the jump-off point throughout the first 4 months of this year, where you continue to ask yourself questions, positive questions. How am I winning? Reframing questions. How can I say yes to this situation that I'm in? Ask yourself questions that act as speed bumps. Statements as, for example, as no shame, no guilt, no judgment. Say it 3 times with intensity. Ask yourself questions like, what am I grateful for? Play the gratitude game. Say 4 elements of gratitude. And remember, at the center of your being is a stability that's simply in presence. It doesn't have to have things change. It's unconditional love. So thank you again so much for joining me in this 40-day practice. Remember, this world needs you to become your best self. The main thing is the main thing. And if you go deep enough to the center of that circle, the main thing is you and your relationship to what you perceive the divineness to be. It's a relationship to learning how to love our lives exactly as we are, not as we wish it would be. So you are your best self. You're just growing into it. Thank you so much for your time. Let us know if you're interested. I've had a lot of people say they are interested in another series. And so I'm thinking about doing another series, probably within the next few weeks or maybe a month from now, if people are interested. I'm going to ring the bell and ask you to listen carefully. Here we go. Remember, I am the me that I want to be. You are the you that you were born to be. I bring my hands together and I bow to you, my friend. Thank you for moving towards your greatness. Namaste. Take care.